Today we're going to get after this Chevy. The last time we had it out, we were using it. It lost power. It was still drivable. I got it home, but you could not give it more than, I don't know, it was like a tenth of a throttle, not even a quarter. And I've done a few things already with it, trying different things, and I'm coming down to the fuel pump. I see you guys talk about there's this ground right here up on the top of the frame for the fuel pump. And I cleaned that, made sure that was good. Still has issues. You can hear the fuel pump run. Let's see if it'll start quick here. It was very, very hard starting. Last time I tried it, it would not start actually. So you can just faintly hear the fuel pump run. Maybe. I'm hoping it'll start when you get it in the shop. This is the third or maybe fourth fuel pump in this truck already. You can see it only has 154,000 miles. So, I don't know. Typical Chevy though. Every single one that we've had, I've had to change the fuel pump around 90,000 miles. You get to that and it didn't matter. The trucks, cars, all of them, they get to that 90,000 and the fuel pump is junk. So, like I said, this is probably the third one in this truck. Because I can hear it run yet, typically when they go out, they quit running. But like I said, I can kind of hear this one run yet, so I'm wondering if maybe the hose, there's the fuel pump and then there's a short piece of hose and then it goes into the sending unit and comes up to the motor. I'm wondering if that hose blew out or fell off or something weird inside of that tank. Either way, you got to drop the tank and see what's going on in there. It's not going to be able to fire. Shocks. Going to try a little bit of fuel down throttle body just to see if we can get it to pop off. Maybe that'll be enough for it to start and then maybe run on the fuel pump. We'll see. Like I said, it did run before on the fuel pump, so. That's a bit more. I just have to get in that door right there. So we're gonna move this truck, and I'm gonna put some gas in the throttle body and try to slowly make our way up there by just dumping some fuel as we're going. Super sketchy. It'll work. another problem. The windshield's covered in ice, so I can't see where I'm going either. This truck doesn't get driven in the winter a whole lot, so the rust isn't terrible, but we're still gonna shoot these fasteners with some juice, some peanut butter, just to make sure. These bolts, and I see this all over on Chevys. So here is a 5/8. I put that on there. You can see I can get, I don't know what that is. It's loose enough where it feels weird. Hopefully you can see that. That is a 15 millimeter. Oddball metric. Put that up on this bolt. And look how snug that is. Are these metric? Does Chevy use oddball metric sockets or fasteners on their vehicles? I mentioned that and everybody says no, they should be standard 9/16, 5/8, the like. But every time I work on them, the metric fits the best. Today I am purposely not running heat in the shop. In fact, I got one of the doors open because I don't want all that snow on top of the truck melting and dripping down on me when I'm working underneath here. Come out like butter. Down just a little bit so I can get to those hoses a little bit easier. Oh, it looks kind of wet inside of that breather. There, you got those two off. I get those two fuel lines undone. Yeah, smaller one is a 5/8. This bigger one should be 3/4. All right. This is the worst of the two lines. Hopefully this one comes apart. Yeah, that one comes pretty. I bet you it rusts because there's that little piece of tape on there. Any kind of contact with metal lines, plastic, tape, anything like this holds junk against the line and makes them rust. This fitting on the line is free, but it's not turning on the line. It's stuck to the line. Not a big fan of threaded fittings like this on fuel lines. I actually prefer those plastic clip lines, and you push them on the line and then you put a clip in it. Those work great. All right, I'll let this tank down a little bit. We got one more small, I think that's a evap hose on there, and this wiring. Oh, here's the clip. We got a clip. Comes off nicely. Silly ground. Here again, 13 millimeter fits better than anything else. Our ground all cleaned up. You can see how nice that was. Dielectric grease on that as well. Oh, that tastes wonderful. soon as we get this job done, I'll dump this back in. And I won't be confused about what's in here. Let's try this again. There. That there. Just let her down. Before you ever attempt to crack these open, you should vacuum that up really well around there. Give it a little blow job. Least amount of stuff you can put down in that tank, the better. This line right here, right by the connection, is where I was saying it was rusty. The rest of these look decent. I mean, there's a little surface rust on here, but that's not bad. It's just right here by the connection. If I do put this back in, I am going to coat this whole thing with grease and everything, just to make sure. Try to keep that rust at bay. Alright, when that ring breaks free, we want to go around again and vacuum. Get this out of here and see what we see. What's going on with this fuel pump. I don't know. Looks like it's still on. No, no. Oh, what is that? Is it just wet? And then that sock always holds fuel. Man, this line, it looks good. Man, I don't know. I was totally expecting this to be off. I thought I heard fuel sloshing around in there when it was running. This line looks good. It's pliable yet. I don't see a hole in it. Maybe the pump just is bad then. That is shucky. What kind of fuel pump is this one? This is a Delphi. Super clean, nice in the tank. Well, what I can do, I can pull this pump off of here. I can set it up in a can. We can put a gauge on, turn it on, and see if she's pumping 50 psi or 60. I think if it's blocked off totally, it should almost go up to 90 psi, but we'll find out. Okay. I found a gauge to stick on here. This is air pressure, air fuel. It doesn't know. A couple of wires stuck in on the terminals. Super sketchy, but good enough to do a test. I actually did this already. It sounds good. I don't know. We're going to stick it in some fluid here and hopefully not make it too big of a mess and see what pissies it shows. A little bit of gas in this can. Just going to stick it down in there. Hopefully it doesn't shoot out to the ceiling. Yeah. Man, it's still showing. You can see that. It's holding 111, 120 psi. It was at 140. Let's see if I can set you guys up here and you can see while I'm trying to burn my shop down. Okay, 140, 130. 120. I'm sure it's just picking up some air bubbles cavitating on the bottom and stuff, but yeah, it's pumping what it's supposed to. One thing I did not check, and now I'm kind of wondering, is if fuel pressure regulator in the truck is letting gas by, and then maybe that's what I heard dumping back in the tank is the return line, just dumping gas back in. There is that little bit of a step in that metal line that goes in the top here. It comes down as one size and then steps down, and that step was right at the edge here. This could have got pushed down to where it was on that step and it was leaking out around it a bit, but still, there should have been enough feeding up to the rail that it would run. I mean, probably since I'm here, I'm going to change this hose out that's in the tank and make it a little bit longer so it gets way past that step in that hard line and put a clamp on above that. But otherwise, yeah, this pump is good. I'm going to put this back in the tank. Well, obviously, I had a gauge in here. There's no hole in this hose. The hose is good. It's pliable, nice yet. Like I said, I just replaced this pump not that long ago. So, I don't know. Let's toss it back in and see what in the hell. Here's that step I was talking about where it's big and then it gets a little bit smaller. That fitting was right on the edge of that. But even still, I don't think that should have caused that issue. I mean, it was... When I was driving it, it was all of a sudden. It wasn't just slowly came on losing power. It was going up a hill kind of, and it just lost power. There's a little bit longer black hose, so I'm going to get it past that step there. So if it is that step causing problems, we'll get rid of that. Get past there, maybe, if we can get it on there. Man, that's tight. Again, working over the top of the gas tank is not a good idea, but I'm bending this up pretty good. There. This clamp down on here. Listen, I don't know about these squeezy clamps either. All right. Plug fuel pump back in. The sock on. That's on. Now make sure that sock is not underneath where the return is. Make sure this O-ring, this is fairly new yet, this O-ring. Very, very pliable, nice and squishy. I already vacuumed this out pretty good. O-ring in. And it has a little tab here that locks into place. You can see you can't turn this. It only goes in one way. Lock ring in. Get it kind of centered. That's good. Live in Wisconsin, so we are going to coat this entire thing. Just fill that right in. Just like that. This is chain cable lube. it gets pretty tacky, sticky, and should stay there for quite a while. Once I get it up in there, like I said, this one line that's a bit rusty, I'm going to cover these lines on the ends here. Just heavy red and tacky grease. I want that to be heavy stuff in there. Leaves and pine needles and all that junk, you leave that in there and it holds moisture. And junk against metal, it makes it rust out. Try to keep that clean when you get it apart. Nothing to see here. Put this tank back in and would have been there another hour and a gallon of gas on the ground with the government can. I'm gonna leave this open just so we can see if we can hear that fuel pump and see if it starts up just from that. I don't know, doubtful, but I heard the fuel pump. Man, it sounds real good. There's some air bubbles in the line, but it's running. I gotta get the air box plugged back in. I wonder if it just was pouring out past that rubber fitting or that hose where that step was. All right, I'm gonna get this air box back on here because it's throwing a code. Check engine light for, what do you call it? Mass air flow sensor. And then I'm gonna disconnect the battery to reset the ECU. Check oil. I got the hood up here, right at that thing. You can see right at that top hole, and not too dark. All right, fuel pump sounds good. Starts right up, runs good. So yeah, it must have been that rubber line in the tank. It just slipped down past that step. Strange, but this brake fluid is a little low on this front reservoir. I'm gonna fill it up while it's right here. Fluid's kind of dark too. It's been a while. Probably needs a brake service. I'm gonna warm it up, take it for a test drive and see how it is. But it sounds pretty good. I think it's fixed. We'll see. Here we go. It seems like it's doing pretty well. It seems fixed. Still have that service engine student light on. I didn't have the battery unhooked long enough, I'm sure. That'll go off on its own after a while, after it does a couple of system checks, I'm sure. If not, this truck is going into winter storage. I'll just disconnect the battery for the rest of winter and it'll be all right. Power seems good. It seems to be running perfectly fine. I put in another can of the gas. That was 6 gallons that went in. Oh, it's going down now because I'm stopping, but it was around 3/8 of a tank. Yeah, power's back. It's running good. I am really shocked that it was just that hose coming down off of that step on that hard pipe that caused that. It must have been just enough where it wouldn't even start. I'm just shocked that it didn't have enough pressure, even 10-15 pounds to start the truck. But I guess, I don't know, if it doesn't have enough, it doesn't have enough. I wanted to shout out a thank you to the guys on the forums for giving me tips and tricks and suggestions for the videos. It's always hard when you're the one doing the videos to know what is boring, what things are stupid, what you should include, what you forgot to. I know on that last car video I forgot to do an after take of that exhaust fix. Then totally skipped my mind. One of the reasons is I left the car on the lift. I had to do an oil change on it after the video, so I didn't even think about taking it off the lift and doing an after run video to show the difference. The exhaust is not rattling anymore. I used it the last couple of days now, and it is good. But yeah, it's just things like that that I forget, or I need to, that I appreciate you guys letting me know about. There was another thing somebody mentioned about basically dead time of me lifting a car up on the hoist, which to me I thought was fine, but to some others it was just boring time, and it was a waste of video time. And yeah, it's the kind of stuff I like to know about, because like I said, to me some things seem okay, but to many others it's boring waste of time and makes the videos not interesting. So I want to thank you guys again, all 11 of you that watch my videos. So yeah, thank you.